E360 TV proudly presents Messages of Inspirational Stories TV show. Live streaming now to millions of devices around the world on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Android TV, YouTube Live, Facebook live streaming. Our shows are available video on demand on these channels. And we broadcast daily, Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time on these channels. On Mondays, expanding your business. Tuesdays, finding health naturally. Wednesdays, mentoring our youth. Thursdays, pets we love. And on Fridays, women in leadership. Brought to you by our producers and hosts, Jim Grant and Donna Guinois. Along with our host, Beata Severin Reed and Emerson Brantley. Supported by our admin team of Michaela Vidal and Gaia Guinois Balconi Hueda.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Messages of Inspirational Stories. Jim, I am so excited. It's Wednesday. You know, we're talking about mentoring our youth, and I don't think there's much more in life worthwhile than mentoring our youth.
Absolutely. You said it best, because when it comes to our young people and what we invest in them, that's our future. That's the future of the world.
Well, that's our legacy.
Yeah, it really, truly is.
That's our true legacy, is what we invest in our youth.
Yeah. And ladies and gentlemen, you know, Donna and I, we've worked very hard here on the TV show, not complaining, but we do. I mean, doing 5 shows a week, it takes, you know, you don't have to go through a few boxes of Wheaties every week or something, you know, but we've been so blessed. We have been so tremendously blessed. On our Thursday, we're going to be doing Ideas Worth Knowing, and we've teamed up with Emerson Brantley.
Yes.
And Mr. Mike Lewis. And I gotta pay a bill here. I just got to do this because, ladies and gentlemen, this is what's in it for you. This is not us just paying a bill. This is what's in it for you. If you go down to, find it here. It's here somewhere. Okay, we have a complimentary. Now, this is from Emerson and Mike Lewis. You have a complimentary library card where you can go there and register and get 10 best-selling books. Now, these are not novels. These are short. He's doing a short series of books. He's going to do one on me. He's going to do one on Donna.
That'll be quick.
Yeah. Well,
it'll be a 3-pager on me.
Oh,
this
no,
is Donna.
No.
She was.
Yeah, no. They wanted to do one on me about podcasting, and Emerson and I have known each other for many, many, many years. About 7 or 8 years. I met Mike when I was speaking on stage down in Orlando, and I knew him and Emerson were buds, but you know, I never really, you know, went any further than that. And then when him and Mike started this project, Mike told him, says, you know, I need someone that's got experience in podcasting. And Emerson says, I got the man for you. His name is Jim Grant. And so I'm going to have a book in that series on podcasting. Now, this is what's in it for you folks out there in TV land. Okay. You can go there. You can pick out the 10 books. You don't have to do them all at one time. This is complimentary. You're not going to be, your email is not going to be copied and pasted and sent with sales pitches and all that.
No, you're not going to get inundated with a bunch of silliness.
No, because that's one of the standards me and Donna have here at our TV show. Number one, no peddling to our viewers. And but see, Mike and Emerson, they don't have to.
No.
Mike has going on 1,500 best-selling authors on Amazon. So if you think he's going to, you know, piddle around and chase you around trying to get a book out of you, If that's the only thing you got to worry about in life, you got no worries. I give you my word
Right.
on that. Now, in also too, for you folks out there that have a story in you, or you'd like to write a book or whatever, you know how hard it is. Mike
Mhm.
will interview you, just back and forth, ask you questions, and you just tell him everything about it. Now he will not do fiction, okay? Because ideas worth knowing is all truth. It's all,
Right.
there's no fiction or anything. And then that's all you got to do. He will then have his team download all the audio from that interview, and then they will, move things around to make things flow, smoothly. Because when I was interviewed, I popped around like popcorn on a hot stove. Because this would come to mind. I said, "Oh, by the way, I need to,
Right.
do this," and that's okay. Because that way, the thing that stops most people from writing a book is called brain cramps and time. And Donna, it's just going to work out beautiful. Like I say, I'm going to have a book there. Donna's going to have a book there, and her book is on how to put up with Jim during a podcast. That'd be a bestseller. That'd be a bestseller, would it, Donna?
Now that's just silly because Jim, we are not only partners, but truly we are best friends
Yeah, we're brother and sister by different mothers,
by different mister.
and then when you're doing a lot of good things explode and come to you. I had Dr. George Grant, and I won't go into the details, but he offered me a deal I couldn't refuse. And it's going to bless me and Donna. And Donna don't even know the details of it yet. But
That's
we're
how good of
doing-
friends we are.
Yeah,
He doesn't
no,
tell
no,
me.
no. We're going to be doing some things with Melaleuca.
Yep.
And because Dr. Grant, now here is a nicety to know for you folks out there, whether you're watching us live on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon TV, or Grandma's TV, or whoever's TV, or your cell phone, it does not matter. Or if you see us on video on demand, you see this show on video demand, it does not matter. All you have to do is get in touch with Dr. Grant at the academyofwellness.com. Go there, fill out his wellness chart, and tell him you saw it on this show. He will give you a free, as in FREE, no cost to you, AO scan. And he will go over the results with you. Donna, that's a tremendous value out there for
It
the
is.
folks. Because Donna and I both had the scans.
We have.
And the thing I like about what Dr. Grant told me, he says, Jim, two things. He said, it's a frequency thing because we're all energy and our voice has frequency, and that's what
Right.
it operates off. I mean, that's how many we use AIs all the time, and that's part of the energy frequency. And he said, so you don't have to study for it. I thought, well, that'll work. And you can't fail. Where were you
It's
when I was in
win
school?
for us.
Yeah. But sincerely,
Jim and I don't like studying for tests, do we?
No. But that MR, it's a 3D image of MRI of your body, your organs, everything. That, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be honest with you, was the only thing that red flagged my heart about 6 months before I had a heart attack. And I thought I was okay. I thought, okay, it's, we have heart problems in our family, no big deal. Because my blood pressure was good and my LDL was great. I was at 73, even in my hospital after I had my heart attack and open heart surgery. My LDL was 93. Anything under 100 is good. But my point being, that is how valuable that scan is. And
Right.
Jeremy Stone, we had on yesterday, he was a diabetic. Blood sugar levels going up to 400 or 500 was consistent with him, which is really super high.
400 or 500, yeah, that's comatose.
Yeah. And he was paying out, fortunately, his medicine runs about $3,500 a month. But he's got copays, but still he's got to fork out $400 a month. And then he had and he didn't believe Dr. Grant. He thought it was some type of mojo thing because he met him at an
Right.
event and he scanned him and he can do it right over right over the camera, just like we're doing
Right.
here.
Right.
And
That's how mine was done. That's how
yeah,
yours was done, Jim.
yeah, yeah. Forgive me for going on long about this, but I'm very, very excited about the health benefits here. Uh, in addition to that, he scanned him and he says, "You got a problem in your right shoulder?" And he says, he didn't know anything about my health. He didn't know anything about my back. He says, that kind of got me wondering. Then I started researching this thing, and it's put on by Solex. It's manufactured by Solex, Solex. You can go on YouTube. You can look at the videos. They got plenty of documented proof. So it's the real deal.
Right.
And Donna, I'm trying to go off of memory, but well, he's lost. I forget how many pounds he's lost. He's lost quite a bit of weight, but now his blood sugar is consistently under 100.
Right.
And he doesn't have to take any medication. And all he did was get scanned by Dr. Grant. And Dr. Grant says, you need some good supplements along with your diet. And he
Yeah.
walked him through. Imagine that.
I have been with Melaleuca for 18 years
Yeah.
as a business.
Yeah.
And amazing.
Mhm.
Certainly is.
We're going to be working together with Dr. Grant on that, with Melaleuca, using the scans and all, because we can improve a lot of people's health. And I mean, we can't make any proclamations, but you just be the judge and do it yourself. And, it's just amazing. And again, please, please, please get your free complimentary 10 books at ideasworthknowing.com. And then you can be the judge on how great those books are. They're all digital, so there's no, shipping and handling or anything. I mean, you can get the hard copy if you want to pay shipping and handling, but unless you really, my idea would just be get it, read it. If you like it, fine, and if you love it, then order the hard copy.
Right.
It's kind of like some TV shows that I'm fond of. There's very, very few I'll watch reruns on, but when I do, I can even quote sometimes what they're going to say because I love it that much.
Right. Love it.
My goodness, Donna, that's a lot of energy there, isn't it?
It is. We just have a lot of things going on, and we want to kind of jump into mentoring our youth.
Yeah.
Right. And one of the things that before we, jump into this article from Psychology Today that was so fascinating, but one of the things is that understanding that even if we want to mentor youth, sometimes as adults, just like we don't always see eye to eye with another adult,
Right.
we may not be able to be the perfect fit for that youth. Maybe it's a different youth.
Yeah.
And so I think it's really important to talk about that for half a second, Jim, because if you really, truly want to mentor youth and it's not jiving with that one, then it's not a personal thing with you and it's not a personal thing with them. It's just chemistry.
It's just a disconnect. Yeah,
it's just a disconnect of chemistry. So it's important to find the person, the youth that you connect with.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And it's something I learned way back in high school. You can't make someone love you. And even though she tried. No, I mean, I'm just kidding about that. But really, if you got things in common and you can resonate, and I tell you something else, everybody appreciates, even in sales. Emerson has done this when he knows that the person's not a good fit with maybe him, not necessarily a product, but even him. He would say, there's a company that I know that I think can better suit your needs.
Right. That can
they appreciate that.
Right. That can be, connect with you on a level that I cannot connect with you on.
Right. And with the youth, you can say, you don't have to say it like that, but you could say something like, there is someone that I think you would love to meet. I want to introduce you to them and let the chemistry take over and
Right.
slip out of the, and they will appreciate and like you
Mhm.
even more because you hooked
Absolutely.
them up. Because
Mhm.
in life, we get hooked up with people, don't we?
Absolutely do.
Oh gosh. And how do we feel about that when someone introduces us to the friend we
Huh.
never met yet? Mm.
Right. It makes you feel amazing. It
Oh
makes you
yeah,
feel absolutely amazing.
absolutely. And I tell you, when it comes to being a good mentor, the main thing, and this was hard for me to learn, I'll be honest, but the main thing to be a good mentor is to shut this off and open up both of these.
Right. That's why we have one mouth and two ears.
Mhm. And look at the body language. The body language can tell
Oh,
you a lot.
yes.
Can I share a funny story with you?
Absolutely.
Okay. Speaking of body language, now you folks, I'm going to mimic the individual and I'm going to let you make your own decision on how this guy answered my question. I didn't even listen to his words. I said it purposely to watch his body language. There was a guy that came into my manufacturing plant and he was going to do all these wonderful, great things and yada, da, 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 da. And I said, okay. I said, I started talking with him. And I says, well, I've got to find out what your expectations are to make sure I can logistically support it before we go any further. Because if I can't logistically support him, we don't need to be talking about money. And so anyway, we visit 2 or 3 times and we're getting closer to where now I can offer him a deal. But there was something about him. I'm always nervous, and maybe this is a operator headspace problem. But when I see a guy that's got on a open cut shirt, not buttoned all the way, he's
Slick
got
Willie.
gold. He's got gold chains around him. He's got
I
gold in
call them
his.
Slick Willies.
Yeah, I kind of get on my reserve. This is the way this guy looked. And I noticed that he didn't give me any names. He talked in third person more. So I got this guy over here. We're going to be doing this, yada, da, da, da. And because people who are real don't mind saying, listen, I'm working with Jane over at, ABC Company. And con men will never, ever, ever give you anything that you can measure. They keep you off balance. That's their stock
Right.
and trade. So I was starting to pick up on this. And I put him together with cheap glue. Now, Donna, watch this. I said, wow, this is me. Wow, that sounds great. I'm very, very excited. Hey, can I ask you a question? Oh, yeah, sure. He's all popped up like this. And I leaned forward and I says, how do you pay your bills? And he went, uh, well, uh, his body language already answered that question loud and clear
Yep.
because we do business with E360 TV and many other companies. And if someone asks me, Jim, how do you pay your bills? I'll just say, well, we do it automatically by credit card.
Right.
We have it set up automatically. Every month, Aaron at E360 TV bills our card and the station and our airtime, our broadcast time is paid for. Because if you're solid in your faith and you're solid in who you are, your morals, your values, and ethics, it's going to resonate through all areas of your life. And
Sure.
kids, young people are the ones that pick up on it faster than anybody else. Don't kid yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And if they asked you something like, well, do you like to go fishing? Be honest, because fishing may be a big thing with them,
Right.
or overnight camping may be a big thing for them, or whatever it might be. But be
Mm-hmm.
honest. Just say, if it's yes, yes, but if it's no, say no. But I've got a good friend that I know that every time they get a chance, they're out the door going fishing or camping or whatever,
Right.
Yeah. But
Honesty is important.
yeah, it really is because so many kids today have lost faith in a lot of things because they see adults talking this way, but they're walking that way.
Well, and there's something else, and we've talked about this a little bit on the show, that
Mhm,
there is a certain point in our life as from child to adolescent to adult
mhm.
that we flip switches and some like our joy, our
Yeah.
childlike joy leaves
Mhm,
because we just get filled. There's something else too, Jim.
mhm,
Um, it's I call it the BS meter. Children can pick up on it. They
mhm.
can tell when you're lying to them, and when you're,
Yeah.
they're gonna call you. They're gonna be
Mhm.
like, because life hasn't, as a rule, touched them the same way and knocked them around, if you will, as
Yeah.
much as we have. So they have a more open frequency than we do.
That's very, very true. That's a good point. And also, too, as you get to know the youth, I think it's a good thing. I really do. When things are going wrong or aggravating or whatever, life, don't try to camouflage it and act like everything's going good. Just say, my attitude would be, and this is just me personally speaking, I would say, I started not to come today or didn't want to call you today because my day has been kind of rough. But you know what? I don't let that define me. I don't
Right.
let that stop me. I will let that go because I love life so much. And I realize life is about energy, love, and abundance. That's where our focus needs to be because we're all going to get distracted. They need to know that when distractions come, how you handle it
Right.
so they can be encouraged to handle it. Yes.
When hard times hit, and that
And
is
they do.
right. So I kind of do the analogy. My husband was actually the one who told me this, and it's a beautiful analogy.
Mhm.
You're driving, okay,
Mhm.
and you've got a cup of hot coffee, super hot coffee in your hand, and you're driving down the road, and you want to take a sip of that hot coffee, but that road you're coming up on is a little bit bumpy.
Mhm.
So what do? When you get ready to take a sip of coffee, you look out and make sure you're not going to hit a hard bump that's going to slop that hot coffee in your face and burn you,
Mhm.
right? So you're looking forward to it, but you're helping navigate your own bumps and
Yes.
the
Yes.
softening the landing that's going
Mm.
to happen in life. And that's one of the things that's so important that we teach our children.
Mhm. Yeah. I that remind me when you mentioned about the hot coffee. I was going to attend a meeting where the guest speaker was going to speak, and the guy came in. He had a white shirt and tie and blazer jacket on, and he had a coffee stain on his shirt. And he said, "Folks, the reason why I put on this shirt today, I love my coffee so much. I figured it'd just soak in, since I can't be drinking it and talking too." And everybody laughed about it. And he said, "No, what? I was coming down the road, and I hit a bump or something, and my coffee
Slop.
spilt. So I figured,
Mhm.
well, they'll know I'm just like everybody else." And there's a lot of credibility in that statement because, Donna, we've said many times before, facts tell, but stories sell.
Mhm.
How many people could connect with that guy who didn't let it, upset him? He made a joke out of it because, hey, who has not spilt a drink on their shirt or
Right.
blouse?
Right. In my radio show, when I started out in radio,
Hmm. Yeah.
and there would be times I couldn't get my tongue to work. And so I just sit, I'm on air all over the world. And I'd say, well,
Live.
folks, right, live. Yeah, there's no recording on that one.
There's
And I
no
said,
editing out.
and I'd say, well, folks, I'm sorry, I can't seem to get my tongue out of the way of my dadgum teeth. Let me try that again.
Yeah.
Because instead of being flustered about, all of a sudden I couldn't get the word out and my tongue went the wrong way,
Yeah.
just go with the flow,
Oh,
because it
yeah.
happens and we all make mistakes. And
Hmm.
that's so important that children
Hmm.
see us as real,
Hmm.
as authentic and
Hmm.
honest.
Yeah.
because when you are real, authentic, and honest, what's that translate to? It translates
Trust.
to a trust and integrity.
Yes. Yes. And it's also very good example to demonstrate because, the young person will understand your life's not perfect. My
Right.
life's not going to be perfect. But when your life is not perfect, it doesn't derail you. Because
Right.
I've seen some people, and I've done this too. We all have to some degree. Something happens, and it mainly just consumes us like a fire. But
Mhm.
fortunately, with age, I've learned to just say, let it burn. I don't care.
You know, age is such an amazing thing. And the
Yeah.
older I get, the more I'm in love with my age. Now,
Yeah.
honestly, and I can say that I'll be 59 this year, and I am in love with the age I am. And I'll tell you honestly, I've never been one to be too freaked out by my age. I truly am
Mm-mm.
not.
No. Yeah.
But when it really all clicked for me was I had my first brain surgery at 49 and I made it to 50. And then I had my other two brain surgeries.
Hmm.
And after that, it was like, wow, look, this is
Hmm.
awesome.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
the older I get and I look back at the things that I've gone through, the
Hmm.
more I know that life is short.
Hmm.
We don't sweat the small stuff, right?
Mm-mm.
And, we've talked about it, Jim. I had a hellacious temper and
Hmm.
probably deep down still do if it really
Hmm.
got triggered,
Yeah.
but it takes an awful lot to trigger it these days.
Yeah.
Whereas back in the day, you'd look at me wrong and it was like, let's go.
Yeah. 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 Because
But
it's kind of like a buddy of mine said, and he's got a wonderful sense of humor. He said, when I was young and dumb, he said, I'd let things bother me. Now that
mhm.
I'm old and dumb, I don't give a big royal catunchi. And he says, when I say that, people think I said a dirty word in Russian, but he says katunchi was a word that I just simply made up. And then he said, if you want to play a joke on somebody and what's the expression on their face, he says, as far as I'm concerned, they can kiss my kumquat. He says they will look at you weird, like that's nasty. A kumquat is a Japanese fruit, ladies
It's
and
a
gentlemen.
fruit. Well, I
But
I say a lot of times I'll say, well, that just makes me madder than a yellow-bellied. Um, oh shoot, now I forgot what it is. It's a woodpecker, yellow-bellied.
sapsucker,
Yeah, thank you, yellow-bellied
yeah,
sapsucker, and that
yeah,
is a type of woodpecker.
yeah. Oh, yeah. And if you're honest and open up to the young people like that, and you share with them, sometimes in life things don't go smoothly. Sometimes in life you don't have any control over the things that happen.
Right.
But, it's like Bill Heinrich's book. Oh, we want to give a shout out, Donna and I do, to our
Oh,
good friend Bill
absolutely.
Heinrich. Bill, I don't think you'd be watching the show, but brother, let me humbly say, Donna and I, you're in our thoughts, you're in our prayers. We
Mhm.
understand you had a heart attack Saturday night and you went in for stents. And we just hope and pray that you get back on your feet real quickly and be 120% like you always have been.
Right.
And Bill Heinrich has really touched our lives, and we want to give a shout out to Bill. This is his book. And ladies and gentlemen, you've seen me do this, present this book many times. Bill and I are friends. He's part of our family here, and we don't charge him anything for this. This is one way how we pay it forward. But Bill Heinrich, The 7 Levels of Truth, this is a fantastic book. And it says this book is for anyone seeking answers,
Hmm.
solutions, and success in life. And I like what Bill says here. Your birthright is to enjoy abundance, love, and
Hmm.
joy. The 7 levels of truth will allow you to achieve all these results in your life and more. And this is a picture of Mr. Bill. So
Yep.
please keep him in your thoughts and prayers. And we wish him well. He's a wonderful friend of ours. And you always hate to hear of anybody having a heart attack
Hmm.
or any type of diagnosis like they've got cancer now or something of
Any
that
type of
nature.
illness.
Yes, yes, because illness just doesn't affect the person; it affects the family and the friends.
Well,
It,
that's a hard fact right there.
yeah.
That's a hard fact. It affects everybody.
Hmm.
The tentacles of what we go through when we're ill reach out to everybody, not
Yes.
just the patient.
Yeah.
So, mhm.
And the beautiful thing about choosing to be a mentor, and we got some groups coming on that's going to be talking about, the people coming on that represent groups that work with groups that mentor youth and all that. The beautiful thing about doing that is that you really are paying it forward because there is a principle in life that we know is true. That is, you will reap what you sow. And if you
Yes.
sow love and abundance and caring for others, it's going to come back to you 100% of the time. Not necessarily from the same people, but
Right.
it's coming. It's coming.
It'll
It's a
come.
boomerang. Yeah, it'll
It'll
come.
come.
Hmm.
Well, one of the things about mentoring youth that I think
Hmm.
is really important to talk about for a moment, Jim,
Hmm.
is about pushing just enough.
Oh, yeah.
So, I, of course, raised my children, and they were all just perfect teenagers. Not, but, teenagers don't respond well to being pushed. And
Hmm.
to be pushed, to do something they don't
Hmm.
want to do, being pushed out of their comfort zones. And that
Hmm.
comes particularly within the family dynamic.
Mm.
Okay. Now, somebody outside of that family dynamic as a mentor can set expectation for them. Maybe it's academic, maybe it's physical, maybe it's a combination thereof, where
Hmm.
where that mentor can push them in a way that their family can't.
Hmm.
And it becomes more like an adventure, more like uh, not a dare, but more of an adventure, more of a, well, I want to show you how well I can do.
Hmm.
And so you've done that. And sometimes they can even kind of say, well, gee, I was thinking about that same thing. So it sort of falls into, as you communicate with them, it falls into their own idea as well. And that
Right.
is a motivation for the
Mm.
for the child.
Hmm. It really, truly is. And that's really amazing because I think back when I was in school, uh, the teachers drill stuff into you. And I had some good teachers. I'm not knocking them, but
Right.
they were trained to deliver something. And in those days, if you did not cut the mustard, you flunked a grade. The system did not push you through just because you were there breathing air in the classroom.
Right.
And but one of the things I read this here, and I'm trying to think out of the canyons of my mind if I can retrieve it. But one of the things with a positive mental attitude, I'm trying to remember who said it. They said, with a positive mental attitude in a schoolroom, the education system can make learning fun and exciting and rewarding.
Oh, absolutely.
Ah.
Oh,
Mm.
let's talk about that, Jim, because I know for a fact that you have had some teachers that honestly scarred you growing up. I had teachers. I was never really great in math, and
Mhm.
it was third grade. I'll never forget what her name is. Um,
Mm.
yep, Mrs. Logan, and she was kind of a stern taskmaster. But I couldn't get the answer quick enough for her,
Mhm. Mhm.
and she walked around with a ruler. Uh-huh, and she whacked my hand, but good, and it
Mhm.
hurt, and it
Oh, yeah.
embarrassed, and what's more, even the physical pain was nothing. Because honestly, Jim, she embarrassed the living hell out of me in front of 25 other children,
Oh, yeah.
and
And,
so for that was 3rd grade, and it took
yeah.
me forever to
Mhm.
understand that, you know, I didn't have to hide that, And I did because I was so deeply ashamed. And it was
Mhm.
based on the way a teacher treated a child's mind. Now, think about that for a moment.
Yeah. Yeah. Because a mind is a very, especially a young mind, it's very fertile. It's like
And
the
very
rich,
delicate.
yeah, very rich topsoil. Whatever you plant in there, it's going to just blossom and grow, whether it's a poison or whether it's a berry.
Right?
And I've told the story before, but my fifth grade in school was the longest school year in my life. I got more whippings in that one year than I think I got the entire time I was in school.
Right?
And to put salt on the wound, Mrs. Watley had already had my sisters and my brother before I came on the scene, so she already didn't like us. So I'm already got a
That didn't
minus
help.
mark, yeah, before, and then her husband, Hugh Watley, and I'm not talking bad about the folks, they're both dead and gone. I'm just saying this is the way my world turned.
Right.
Her husband, Hugh, worked at Duke Power with my dad on the same line crew. And I cannot tell you how many times during the day that I wasn't any worse than any other little boy in the school. I mean, I wasn't no, saint, but she would look over those half moon glasses of hers, and she'd look at me and she says, "I'm going to tell Hugh tonight. You'll be talking to your
Ooh,
father tomorrow." Ladies and gentlemen, I can honestly say there were times as a little boy like that in the fifth grade. I
mhm.
actually said, Lord, if the end of time's coming, could you get here before 5 o'clock tomorrow? Because I knew what was going to happen. And yes,
Right?
sir. And the thing, this is interesting. We all know that, I can whisper a word to someone, it goes down through a line, it gets changed. But
Sure.
trust me when I say
It didn't
that
get
whenever
changed then.
what I saw, what she told Hugh, and what Dad understood wasn't even close. It got blown out of proportion. And I wish I was making that up.
Right.
Point being with kids, when you're talking to kids, you've got to understand that they're going to listen and be receptive to you. And you've got to be kind. You've got to show them love, and you got to show them the proper amount of tension to
Right.
help them go to the next level. And yeah, I mean, talk about scars and getting hit with a ruler. I just had some stripes on my butt from that paddle.
Right.
Uh, but it's really, I'm glad you brought that up because being able to encourage kids to come out of their comfort zone and go a little bit further, that is huge.
And one
And
of the ways that we can do that, Jim,
mhm,
is when it's appropriate, is talk to whoever you're mentoring
mhm,
about, like for me, what I just shared. If they're coming to me and they're like, "Gosh, Donna, I've got a lot of problems in math. I'm having a hard time understanding it."
yeah, yeah,
Then you can say, I would go into, I understand how you feel. You know what happened to me in third grade?
mhm,
Then you tell that story. What's that do? It gives an instant connection.
yes,
And then that trust gets a little harder. And and
mm,
then you're able to say, uh, gosh, sweetie, I never, ever, ever want you to have to go through what I went through. So we're going to
mhm,
work through this together so
mhm,
that you are up to speed and
mhm.
that you never have to feel like you need to hide the fact that math's a little bit harder for you.
Yeah, because, another thing too, and I think this was missed a lot in my school growing up, and I'm not knocking the Cleveland County uh, school board system there in North Carolina where I grew up. But what I'm saying is, at no time were kids told that it's okay if you're not up to here in history.
Right.
You may be up to here over your classmates in science.
Hmm.
Because Bill talks about it too, about the gifts that we have. We all
We
have the
all
same
learn
basic
different.
gifts. Yeah.
But we all learn differently.
And we all have certain levels of, there are certain things that Donna can do. It just amazes me. One is put up with me. That's a gimme. but
That's
sincerely, but sincerely, there are things that Donna can do that amazes me. And there's things Emma can do that I can't do. And,
Jim is a whiz at so many things that I'm like, and he's like, "Oh, it's not hard, Donna." And I'm like, "Yeah, but if I'm not there right beside you, I don't understand how to do it."
mhm. Yeah, it's but what you're good at, you excel in, and that's what you need to tell the kid. Find what you're good at because that's your gift. That is
Right.
going to come with an abundance of energy. It because as you develop that, it's going to get exciting. I tell you
Sure.
what, I was opposite Donna because when it comes to being in school, English,
Oh, yeah. See, English was
history,
great for me.
yeah. But when it came to math, it clicked for me. That was the
Right.
only subject in school that clicked for me, but it clicked.
See, and
Finally
that's what
found something.
right,
Yeah.
and that's what we're talking about. A lot of times
Mhm,
it wasn't even, especially when we were in school, it
mhm,
wasn't, well, gosh, Donna, you do really well in reading and your
mhm.
comprehension's great. It was like, nope, you got in trouble, Donna, because you didn't do math well. So smack on the hand.
Yeah. I remember my dad looked at my report
Really?
card and I was getting C minuses and maybe a C, C plus at best on my report card in English and history and how to basket weave and whatever I was taking. But when it came to math, I got an A. And my dad says, "What happened here?" And I said, I don't know. I just do okay there. Finally found something you can do, huh? or something like that. But it's so true.
Right.
Everyone has a unique gift. And one of the things, and this might be a good nicety to know out there in TV land here in the United States, I don't know how it is in other countries, but I've encouraged young people that maybe was like I was when I come out of school. I really didn't know what I wanted to be.
Right.
I mean, I was just young. I was over, like I tell people, I was a kid in the 50s and an overly intelligent teenager in the 60s.
Right.
And I got to tell you a little joke right quick. I was born at 8:09 on a Friday night. And when I was young, I used to brag about that God gave me birth just for the weekend. So I was made for the weekend. I lived that and I believed that like it was some kind of a religion. But my point being is that a lot of kids may be just like I was when I come out of school. You ask young people, what do you want to do? I don't know. That was me. But I
Yep.
encourage those young people to go down to the Armed Forces office and at least, or you can do it anywhere really. You don't have to go to the Armed Forces, but take the ASVAB test, take aptitude test to find out what you got a natural
Right.
knack for. And that will help you find something of interest to you because if you got a natural knack for it, it means that's your gift.
Well, and it also makes life a lot more fun when you do
Yeah.
something that you like, you
Yeah.
do something that you love, and it isn't just, "Ugh, I gotta go to work today." You're
Mhm.
like, "Yes, I get to go to work today because 'cause I'm
Yeah.
really good at what I do."
You enjoy it. You enjoy
Mhm.
it. Yeah.
Yep.
Because, and don't do anything for money because money's the poorest motivator on planet Earth. I knew one individual, let me put it like this. There's been many, many others, but I knew this one gentleman personally, and he was in an executive position. He made a lot of money. He was always gone a lot. And he resigned from the company. He went and took a lesser paying job where he could have nights and weekends off.
Mhm.
He said, because I was missing out on my family.
Right?
And that takes a lot of character to do that. He says, me and my wife talked about it. And she says, whatever you want to do, she says, I'll support you. But I would love, and the kids would love seeing their dad more.
Right.
And so when she said the kids would love seeing dad more, that
That was it.
that was it. And Joe Gibbs was like that when he coached the Washington Redskins. Uh, he uh, he resigned because he realized that his entire world during from preseason on to the end of the season, his world was all about football,
Hmm.
and he was missing his kids growing up. And he felt like he wasn't a good dad, and his wife Pat was being mom and dad. And he just, it's not worth it anymore. It's not
It's
worth my family.
right, and it is, and from somebody who's been there, it is hard to be mom and dad.
Sure, sure, sure it is. And see, you can share real life stories like that to illustrate life value, life principles and values in life to young people
Mhm.
because, facts tell, but stories sell. That works
Right.
everywhere. That works, if you're going to do business with a company and you got two identical companies, same product, same price, same everything. And this one company, all they do is advertise, get people in the store. And this other company here, they advertise, but they also are involved in the community. They,
Right.
which one would you want to associate with?
Absolutely. The
Because
one who
they
works
told
with
their
the community.
story.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yep.
Because that gives you part of a good feeling of being part of something that's bigger than you. And that's what your call should be, something bigger than you. And you need
Right.
to teach youth about that because being young, I'm sorry for interrupting you. Being
No, you're
young, you have a tendency to look at it, at least speaking from experience in my life, what's in it for me? She's giggling at me again.
I
She she
am. I'm
she
trying
may
not to
start
giggle
snorting
too
in a
much.
minute.
No, I'm not going to snort. I'm going to be a good girl and I'm not going to snort no matter what.
Hmm.
No, I have to agree, Jim, that getting our children to understand
Hmm.
um, that it's okay to, all right, I'll give you an example. If at Christmas, get new toys. I would always try and get my children to do this so I wouldn't have to do it.
Hmm.
But I would always try and get, okay, now what toy do you play with the least now? Christmas is
Mm.
over. It's been a couple weeks. What toy do you have that you don't play with so much anymore? Because you
Mm.
got a whole bunch of new ones at Christmas, sweetheart.
Hmm. Oh
Okay,
yeah.
let's put those over on the side and let's see what we can do. And let's why don't we donate those? Why don't we give those to somebody?
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
that becomes a foundation in which they become doing something bigger than
Mm.
themselves.
Mm. Yeah. A great place to do that too is with like food banks and things like that, and get it set up to where you can actually take the young person with you to deliver goods to people who are less fortunate than
Mhm.
you. Because think about how they would feel with the people being appreciative of you bringing, bags
Yes.
of groceries.
Yes.
That speaks volumes,
Mhm.
and it says a lot about you. And one thing too I'd like to cover, Don, if we could, is that you lend your perspective. And one of the best things, and Bill is a master at this, Bill Bill Heinrich, he don't tell you what to do. You know what Bill
No.
actually does? Oops, I got his book upside down. There we go. Well, it looked all right when I had it this way, but anyway, the camera never lies.
Mhm.
Bill sat there and asked questions.
Mhm.
And you can ask questions to young people. And the
Yeah.
questions that you ask can indirectly lead them into your perspective to draw them out. That
Right.
is tremendous.
Just like if I have a young child I was mentoring, and they came to me and said, "Well, gee, and I'll be like, "What's wrong? You don't seem good today." Well,
Mhm.
my mom's just mom and my folks are divorced and mom's been
Mhm.
on me about chores and this and that and the other and you know how kids can be. And I'd be like, I
Mhm.
understand that. It can be rough. And then so you're agreeing with them because it
Mhm.
is rough for them.
Sure, sure.
But then that is a time to say, gee, do you know what it's like for your mom?
Mhm.
I've been there.
Yeah.
And so this is what you're not seeing, sweetheart.
Mhm.
Because I've always been one of those moms who felt that if my children were old enough to ask me the question, they were old enough to get the answer.
There you go. There you go.
That's me,
Yeah.
that's just me. Everybody differs. I get it, but that's
Mhm.
just me. So if somebody is old enough to ask me a question or complain about something, then they're old
Mhm.
enough to see another perspective, another side of it. Because
Amen.
oftentimes our children don't see it, or they
Mhm.
don't see that mom and dad are out there busting their buns, working. Each of them a full time job, and maybe one of them a part time job, or a side gig to make ends meet and to get ahead.
Mhm. There's a young girl that I know. She's about 13, 14, somewhere in there. And she was under a lot of peer pressure. And, that's normal.
Mhm.
And just be honest with it, expect that. It's like, going out in the rain. If you forget your umbrella, you're going to get wet. So
Right.
expect that. But then I asked her a few questions. I shared, I said, when I was growing up in school, the people I went to school with, they were my best friends. They were my world. That's on it. And because I saw them every day, they're my world. But after I graduated from school,
Didn't see him anymore.
they evaporate into thin air.
Mhm.
And I said,
Mm.
wow, I'm just so thankful that the young guys and gals in my life growing up did not lead me astray or influence me or encourage me to go
Right.
astray or whatever. And because after high school, those relationships evaporated.
Yep.
I'm still friends with them and all that, but we talk rarely on
Yeah,
social
you're not
media or
you're not
something.
tight like you were in school.
No way, Jose. And whenever you go to a class reunion, everybody goes into a freeze frame. We talk about high school because that's the only thing we got in common. That's the
Right.
last thing. That was the last connection we had.
Right.
And my point being, in talking with this young girl, I said, think about 8 years from now.
Hmm.
You're going to be 22. You'll be out of school 4 years ago. You hadn't seen those people in 4 years. Would you like for those people to mess up your life now that you'd be
Right.
paying the price for another 20 years long after they're gone?
Amen.
And she got to thinking about that. And I said, just think about it. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I'm just
Right.
trying to say, make the right choice for you.
Hmm.
And I could tell it registered. And that's all you can do. I mean, it really is. And kids are always so quick to pick up on. I knew a guy one time, he was trying to mentor a young boy. The young boy picked up on it and told his mama, I don't even want to be around him. Because the reason why he was, wanting to be a mentor to him, he was trying to get on the good side of mama because he liked mama more than I think he did the kid. The kid says, time out. He's going. And, so kids pick up on that. My point being in mentioning that, excuse me, make sure you're always authentic.
Hmm.
They'll pick up on it if you're not. If you say, like I said earlier, if you don't feel like, man, I didn't feel like coming over here today, or I started to call you and say, I can't make it, but I know you're looking forward to it. And you're more important than my problem is.
Right. I didn't want to let you down.
Yeah. Amen.
And
Amen.
then, it's like, gosh, and you know what? By me not wanting to let you down,
Mhm.
it really raised my vibration level, and I'm feeling
Yeah.
better than when I came here.
Yeah. 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 Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, our time's about gone.
It is, Jim. It is.
And I
Darn it.
learned a lot today from Donna.
Well, I've learned a lot from you today too, Jim.
Are you authentically saying that?
No, it's important, and we're
Mhm.
blessed that you guys have joined us wherever
Mhm.
you are.
Yeah.
We are, this
we
goes out
know
everywhere.
we know a lot of you folks watch this video on demand afterwards
Yeah.
because you may be resting or you may be at work or whatever. But we sincerely appreciate it. Before I go, once again, I want to mention, please, 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 please go and get your complimentary library card. Get those 10 free books. And you can get one or two. You may have a friend or spouse or boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, and they may want one or two. That's fine. But you don't have to get them all 10 at one time. Also, too, if you're concerned about your health, be sure and visit Dr. Grant's website, the Academy of Wellness. And if you tell him you saw it on the show, he will give you a free AO scan. You take the results of that, look at it. He will go over it with you, what the red flags. Then you take that to your medical doctor and say, hey, I need to address these issues, because it'll pick up things that blood test and every other thing won't pick up. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you for being here with us today. And we sincerely hope in everything that you do that you and your loved ones are blessed and with good health and love in all areas of your life. And love yourself enough, as Donna would like to say, whenever you goof up and you aggravate yourself, give yourself
lots of grace, folks.
Amen. If you got any left over, throw it our way. We can use it. But we'll be back tomorrow. We're going to be on the show with Emerson. I think Mike's got jury duty, but we're going to be talking about the stories and things that we're going to be covering on Wednesdays, on Thursdays at the Ideas Worth Knowing, because this is going to be a very, very, very interesting show. And we're getting press releases on that.
We are.
So,
lots of things coming up, folks. So stay tuned.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We're going to be, we have to, I might have to show up one day wearing a tuxedo. I only wore one tux, and that was at prom. And,
right?
Yeah, and that was it. I rented a tux and I got married. That's right. Anyway, we got to go. We'll see you later.
Bye-bye,
Bless
folks.
you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.